So the Freedom 100 Emerging Markets ETF is the world's first freedom-weighted emerging markets equity strategy in the form of an ETF. So my background in these two countries, China and the US, and spending time in Hong Kong after college, gave me kind of a sense of the importance and the impact that freedom made in my life and in these markets. We think that freer markets have more sustainable growth. They recover faster from drawdowns, and they use their capital more efficiently, both human capital and economic capital, and they experience less capital flight and capital destruction. And so we want to be in places where companies are free to act in their own best interests instead of the best interest of the state. One of the challenges we had in the beginning was there was no quantified metric for human freedom. There was for economic freedom, but nothing on the personal freedom side. We define human freedom as personal freedom and economic freedom because we think those freedoms work together and they're interconnected. You can't be half free, so you have to have both. We actually had to create our own human freedom quantification system, and then we had to put a provisional patent on that. Thankfully, by the time I actually went to score countries, Fraser and Cato had started doing their Human Freedom Index data set. So now I use completely third-party data that is quantitative. If you look from the beginning of history of mankind, freedom has gone up in slope and drastically over time. Now, freedom increases, we found in our studies, are very gradual, and freedom decreases are very sudden. So it's the decreases that we're noticing right now, and they tend to be sudden. We do have a portfolio rule that limits the exposure we have to that downside. But as far as the freedom levels over time, we do see an increase over a long period of time, but currently we are seeing a decrease. I think another good point to make here is that there is no 100% free market, and there is no 100% oppressive market. So the ripple effect is an interesting question because just like autocracies have a ripple effect, and we've seen that in the recent past, so does freedom. And we've seen that in the recent past. We see with the president of Ukraine, and even though he was a smaller force than the Russian military, that his stand for freedom changed the whole world's perspective on it. And I'm feeling that as the manager of this fund. So I hope the ripple effect in the end will be that investors will direct their assets towards freer countries, countries that are promoting peace and freedom in the world, versus countries that are promoting other things like oppression and slavery. So I hope that is the end game of the ripple effect. And in the meantime, I hope that more people will consider this type of strategy as one that, one, aligns with their values, and two, generates outperformance in the long run.